How's it going? My name's Bradley. I just hit that Chris Collinsworth live. How's it going, man? My name's Bradley with Allaqcess Sports, bringing you our week 14 sleepers, studs, and stacks. And that's where we look at guys that are under $5,500 for those sleepers, guys. The guys you can get a lot of value from, okay? The studs, the obvious plays, the expensive guys, the Christian McCaffreys of the world. Who are you going to be paying up for and who's going to actually pay off? And then stacks. Who are we pairing our quarterback with? What kind of run backs will we have? And then at the end, we'll put together a little bit of a lineup. We'll tell you how we feel about it just based off of the guys that we talk about in this video. And we'll make some tweaks and go from there. And if you've never been here before and it's your first time watching, I appreciate you stepping in. If you find anything of value at any point in time, just drop a thumbs up and a comment down below. It really helps the channel out immensely. Now, I will say, I am a little bit behind in my research this week. Me and my wife are expecting a baby very soon, and it's been a little time consuming. So let's look at the slate and see how things shape out. I've said it a couple of times this year. I think Kansas City's defense is a little bit better than we expect. Josh Allen obviously has big upside. I think there's a little bit better value down below. Patrick Mahomes, yes, against Buffalo. You like that. Lamar Jackson against the Rams. Yes, you like that. CJ Stroud going up against a good New York Jets defense. It's going to be kind of interesting to see. He is without Tank Dell, without Dalton Schultz, so he does have limited weapons. Therefore, you know who the passes are probably going to be going to. Nico Collins, Noah Brown, Robert Woods, Brevin Jordan. Yes, that is a lot of names, but Nico Collins is going to be the main recipient of those passes. But he does get Sauce Gardner. Justin Herbert against Denver. Denver, again, looks better as the year's gone on. Chargers offense, though, it's always a plus. Chicago against Detroit. I do like this. I think Detroit's putting up a ton of points. Chicago chasing. Justin Fields, again, very selective with who he's going to be throwing to, and he has massive rushing upside. Trevor Lawrence against Cleveland, no thank you, even if he was healthy. Brock Purdy against Seattle, I do like this one a lot. Seattle has struggled at times. Devon Witherspoon has shut down some guys, so pay attention on who he's going to be matched up with. Jared Goff against Chicago, again, another good game where you know it's going to Laporta or Amon-Ra St. Brown, and every once in a while, Jahmyr Gibbs will get sprinkled in. I think Russell Wilson's a little underpriced. That doesn't mean I'm playing him, but I just feel like, again, a game where they're probably going to be chasing points or just going up against a bad LA Chargers defense. There's a chance he can put up some real points with Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy. Now, guys under $5,500, I say it every week. I personally do not like to pay down for my quarterback. I know there is some value there. I know there are some stacks that are really good. I play mainly 50-50s and double up, so that means I like a really high floor and a decent ceiling, but I want guaranteed points. I just want to be better than half of the field. Me and you, we're doing our research, okay? Therefore, we should theoretically be smarter than half of the population. Does that make sense? Anyways, if you plan on paying down this week, Gardner Minshew against Cincinnati, yeah, I like that a lot. Gardner Minshew, we've said it each and every week. Michael Pittman Jr., Josh Downs. There you go. Without Jonathan Taylor, Zach Moss, who's getting a ton of red zone looks, a ton of within the 5-yard line carries. Yes, that does eat into it a little bit, but still, Gardner Minshew, when he is throwing, it's going to Michael Pittman and Josh Downs. Do we have any takers on Aiden O'Connell? And I mean that seriously, okay? He has some really good weapons there, if you want to include Jacoby Myers, but he has some good weapons. A 12-point game, a 13-point game, and a game or a theory where you only need 3 to 4 times your value, right? If you're putting in $5,000, you want to get 15 to 20 points out of your quarterback. When you look at the grand scheme of things, you're given $50,000 by Draftkings. If you're able to put up 200 points 4 times, you're going to be cashing every single week. Aiden O'Connell at $5,100 should be able to get you 15 to 20 points going up against the worst defense that he's probably seen in 3 or 4 weeks. Kansas City, pretty good defense. Miami, a pretty good defense when healthy. The Jets have a really good defense. The Giants, we'll reserve conversation about them being good. Now, if I had to rank my favorite quarterbacks this week, I might start with Justin Fields. Again, this is kind of a first look for us. I'm a little behind. Justin Fields, probably right off the rip, going to be one of my favorites. Jared Goff has to be there. Brock Purdy is probably going to be there. They will bounce back up to these 3 guys. Just throwing that out there. Running backs, this week, there is a lot to like at the top. Last week, we told you, hey, there's not a lot to like at the top. You might want to be paying down this week, and it paid dividends for some of us. Christian McCaffrey gets the 28th ranked DraftKings points allowed defense against running backs. Kamara, Carolina. Pick on Carolina all you want. We've been saying it all year. Austin Eckler. There's a lot of conversation and murmurs that he might be getting reduced carries. Joshua Kelly might be getting more exposure. What was it? His top speed's 13 miles per hour this season. Hasn't really gotten the gusto, if you will, getting things going. 4 points, 10 points, 8 points. Tyron Williams gets that aforementioned Baltimore Ravens defense. Travis Etienne with an injury to Trevor Lawrence if he is out against Cleveland. Cleveland is a good defense. I wouldn't be surprised if Etienne gets a few extra touches, whether it's passes out of the backfield or handoffs. Isaiah Pacheco is out. Jonathan Taylor's out, so that's Zach Moss. Pacheco, he's out. That's probably Jerick McKinnon, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Jahmyr Gibbs at 6,600, priced down from, I believe, 7,000 a few weeks ago. Again, 32, 26, 21. Has a few smaller weeks against Green Bay. Again, I thought was a bad rushing defense. They've been pretty good over the last few weeks. New Orleans Saints is a good rushing defense, and it showed. Now he gets the Chicago Bears, who, listen, it looks like they're good against the run. Let's look at this matchup, 79 yards per game. But they're giving up a ton of passing yards per game. Jahmyr Gibbs isn't your average rusher. He's going to be getting touches out of the backfield in the passing game. If we can get one of these 8 or 6 target games, I would absolutely be over the moon about that. Again, they might be able to stop the run, but they do struggle in coverage with running backs who catch the ball out of the backfield at times. Moving on down, Joe Mixon. Again, without Joe Burrow, and they had Jake Browning last time, you think that teams would be playing against Joe Mixon, but they still said, Jake Browning, you can't beat us with your arm, and, well, he looked pretty good. Joe Mixon goes out and has 29 points, 21 a few weeks before. He is getting involved not only in the passing game, but also just alone in the running game, as he should. At $6,100, you're getting really good usage against an Indianapolis Colts defense that struggles against the run, being 26th in rush yards allowed per game, 27th in points, and 26th in total yards allowed per game. In that same game just across the street, Zach Moss, again, we're not the only ones talking about him. He burned us last week. That's not what we want to see. This number looks really good. This number looks okay. I don't think we're going to have the same what he did last week for us this week. This is a league. This is a thing, Draftkings, where it's, what have you done for me lately? People want to hop on the hot hand. I think some people might be shying away from Zach Moss. Not a lot. I think it'd just be a little bit lower owned than it was last week, and I want to take advantage of it because he has a really good opportunity before him. I'm not saying these are my 2 running backs, but these are 2 guys that we've always talked about, and obviously, if you have the money, pay up for one of these 2. Kamara, McCaffrey, one of these guys is going to pop. McCaffrey, you know what you're getting. You're getting it every single week. Wide receivers. Now this side, we're on the flip side. If the one team is good against the run or struggling against the run, there's probably vice versa in the passing game. So a lot of green up top on the running backs, a lot of red, a decent amount of red up top for the wide receivers. Stephon Diggs against Kansas City. Again, I think Kansas City is a little bit better than people expect, meaning I don't think Stephon Diggs is a bad play, but I do think he's capped at the top. Keenan Allen against Denver. He gets Patrick Surtain. Justin Jefferson should be back against Las Vegas. Joshua Dobbs finally has an elite weapon to throw to. He's had good weapons, but he gets an elite weapon to throw to. He's going to bounce back from the 4 interception game he had last week. Amon-Ra going to get the bulk of the receptions against Chicago. We talked about our love for Jared Goff. 9, 9, 11, 11, 6 in terms of targets that he's had over the past 5 weeks. 3 touchdowns over the last 4 weeks. He's cracked the 100-yard mark, I believe, in half the games. Over the last 3, he hasn't, but just previous to that, you have 156, 108, 102, 124 for another 3-point bonus on Draftkings. I really like him this week against Chicago, a defensive back situation that's been struggling all year, not only with injuries, but performance-wise. It's not saving you a ton of money from these top 3, but I think he's probably in the best position right now. Mike Evans with a monster day against the Carolina Panthers. I believe he had a 75-yard touchdown at one point. Jamar Chase, a really good week last week with Jake Browning. Do you think that continues? Is he going to be an absolute volume hog? If you throw it in his vicinity, much like you do with Justin Jefferson or Devontae Adams, he is going to catch it. He has a massive catch radius. 34 points last week. He could certainly replicate that. Again, $7,600, you're getting a nice amount of savings from Amon-Ra St. Brown, and he's probably going to be putting up similar numbers. Nico Collins as the number 1 weapon for Houston, again, gets Sauce Gardner. Devontae Adams against Minnesota, a defense that's been horrible against the pass this season. Since Aiden O'Connell has stepped in, he has been getting targeted in the passing game. Unfortunately, hasn't really resulted in a ton of points. Only 1 touchdown in the last 5 or 6 games, 4 on the year. Again, not really happening with Aiden O'Connell in there. That offense has sputtered. He has been getting the volume, but it has been a little bit of a tough stretch. We talked about it, the Jets, the Dolphins, Kansas City. I think he does have one of these larger games again. There's a lot of guys priced over $5,500 this week. You're going to have to pay up for some wide receivers. Michael Pittman Jr., I'm sure a ton of people are going to be talking about. It seems like everywhere, every week, it's just step and repeat. 16 targets last week, 30 points, only 1 touchdown. I say only 1 because he still put up 30 points. DJ Moore has been the focal point since Justin Fields has returned. 13 targets last week, 11 receptions, 114 yards, just an absolute monster over the last few weeks. At $6,500, I do like his upside, I do like his touchdown ability, and I like that he's being targeted against a defense that ranks 21st in the league in passing yards allowed. Justin Fields is never going to throw for 350. I mean, I shouldn't say never. He's probably not going to throw for 350 yards in this game because he does have the rushing upside. But if he throws for 220 yards, he threw for 217 last week. And what did DJ Moore get him? 114. 50% of the yards come the way of DJ Moore. Jackson Smith-Njigba is definitely getting involved over the middle of the field. Last week against Dallas, when pressure is coming in his face, he looks to be the guy that's getting involved the most, running those short over-the-middle routes or quick out routes. 7 receptions, 11 targets. Yes, only 62 yards, so less than 10 yards a catch. 13 points, no touchdowns to show for. Okay, only 2 on the season. No touchdowns to show for over the past few weeks. There's a couple guys right here in this space. Jordan Addison gets the Las Vegas Raiders. Rashee Rice against Buffalo. No, thank you. I do like Addison. I really like Noah Brown if he is healthy and ready to go. He took, I believe, the second most snaps last week behind Nico Collins. Once Tank Dell went down, he does get New York Jets, but he's probably not going to get Sauce Gardner, so these numbers should be a little bit more reflective of what we're going to get out of him. Jerry Jeudy's under $5,500, and it's not even close at $4,700 for the Judester. $4,700. It matches his season low. Russell Wilson didn't have to throw it a whole lot last week, or chose not to throw it a whole lot. The play calling didn't call for Russell Wilson to throw the ball a whole lot last week, so there weren't a whole lot of targets to go around. In a game where you're playing the Chargers, who have the potential to put up a lot of points when they are healthy and are operating fully, I think Jerry Jeudy's going to be getting involved once again. And lastly, the cheapest guy that's on my radar, I mean, there's a couple of Jaguars wide receivers. With the fact that Christian Kirk goes down, Zay Jones is going to be my guy in my back pocket that I have. Thankfully, I have him in a lot of best ball drafts. So shout out to the guys that are still in it and contending. Week 14 on the horizon. 8 targets against the Cincinnati Bengals. Most of those went after Christian Kirk went down. They don't play the same role, but Trevor Lawrence does trust him a lot. If you look at these games, just as wide receiver 3, getting a steady amount of involvement at $3,700, priced down from where he was early in the season, I think you're going to get some good numbers. The tight end position, you hear me say it every single week. If it's not Travis Kelce, I don't really want to pay up for him, and that's probably what we're going to be doing this week, is not paying up for a tight end. There's a lot to like at times with Sam Laporta, who I do like this week, TJ Hawkinson, George Kittle, but typically you can find some severe value at the tight end position, and that's just kind of what I prefer to do. But again, at $6,100, if you were getting a wide receiver that's getting these kind of numbers, 32, 17 most weeks, or 19, you're probably going to be pretty happy getting that 3 to 4 to 5x. I'm just saying, he's in a position to do it this week. But since I want to pay down, let's look at some other guys that might be of value. Working our way up, I do like Brevin Jordan. Most people are going to be talking about him. Tyler Conklin, we talked about last week being one of the favorite targets, and he got 9 of them last week. I like him again against the Houston Texans defense, who has been, at times, vulnerable to tight ends. Isaiah likely got involved with Mark Andrews being out with his ankle injury. He has been getting a little bit involved. 6 targets last week, 40 yards. I think he was second in targets, 8 points. It's worth a gamble against an LA Rams team that could potentially score some points. They've been putting up points against some pretty good defenses throughout the year. So if you want to go after Isaiah Likely, you can. Again, they do run the ball a decent amount. He is looking at Zay Flowers, Odell Beckham, and then Isaiah Likely. Just so you can kind of see the team right now, we have Jared Goff going up against the Chicago Bears. Pair him up with Amon-Ra St. Brown, Zach Moss, and Joe Mixon. 2 really good, well-priced running backs this week. I think both of them are capable of 15 to 20-point games. Alvin Kamara as another running back against the Carolina Panthers. We've seen him get heavily involved over the past few weeks, including a 28-point game last week. Not a whole lot of rushes, getting a ton of targets with Derek Carr being healthy. Get the ball out of his hands. I use healthy lightly, by the way. Get the ball out of his hands and just dump it off to Alvin Kamara. And just give me some points, please. Amon-Ra, again, with Jared Goff. Tyler Conklin to save us some money. And then Zay Jones. If Trevor Lawrence is good to go, Zay Jones should be getting involved. If it's C.J. Beathard, I'm not sure that I'm going to play Zay Jones. I could look to save a little money or pay up. And then that leaves us with some really nice room for some of these wide receivers. Tyler Lockett against San Francisco, a game where there could be a lot of points scored. Garrett Wilson, the main receiving threat going up against Houston. Jordan Addison, if you want to pivot off of Justin Jefferson and go and get one of the other guys, Jordan Addison. Rashee Rice. Noah Brown, the number 2 guy against the New York Jets. Again, probably not getting Sauce Gardner. That's going to be Nico Collins. Noah Brown, if healthy, could be a good one. Joshua Downs, Jerry Jeudy. We've talked about both of these guys throughout the show. Robert Woods, another receiving threat there for Houston. Jackson Smith-Njigba. There's a lot that you can pay down for and move some pieces around. For now, it's probably going to be between these 2 guys, Noah Brown and Joshua Downs, and we're going to be leaning Noah Brown. with CJ Stroud. That leaves you $600 to upgrade some things. Maybe Zay Jones isn't available and you want to pivot there. There are some options, again, that we've talked about in this show. Maybe you don't like the Atlanta Falcons against Tampa Bay and the Baker Mayfields of the world. Certainly pay up and upgrade there. Don't forget, we do another report tomorrow morning. That's Sunday morning on kickoff over on Patreon. That is down in the description below. We're going to be giving out some Vivid Picks over on Twitter. If you haven't participated in Vivid Picks, get signed up with my code down in the description. We can both take advantage of some amazing promotions that they have going on when you use my code. All you're doing is picking player props. You're picking over under yardage for wide receivers, running backs, how many tackles someone will make, how many kicks a kicker will make in the game. There's a lot of options to turn a couple of dollars into a couple of hundred, and it's just you versus the numbers. And then again, over on Patreon, your weather report, injury news, player pool, and our final lineup with some alterations. We'll give you usually our 5 core players and then a handful of wide receivers or tight ends or running backs that we're looking at to kind of complete that lineup. If you made it this far in the video, I appreciate the heck out of you watching, man. I really do appreciate it. Drop a comment. Let me know where I went right, where I went wrong. Let me know how to improve. But I do appreciate you being here, and hopefully the next time that I see you is in the green, baby.